All right, let me ask you something. When was the last time you told a lie? And I don't mean the big one like I invented Google. I mean those small ones like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see your text. When you definitely did see the text, you were just too busy scrolling through TikTok. 2 years ago, I decided to stop lying altogether. And no, this was no experiment or attempt to get nominated for sainthood. I just realized that lying, even those small lies, was exhausting and it made my life way harder than it needed to be. And now, since I quit lying, my mind feels lighter, my conversations feel effortless, and my relationships have gotten so much better. Today, I want to share what this decision has taught me, how my life has changed, how honesty will make people respect you more, and why this might be the life hack you didn't know you needed. So let's dive in. First, let's talk about the biggest benefit of not lying. Mental peace. And I'm not being dramatic. Think about it. Every time you lie, you're creating a whole alternate universe in your head. You've got to remember what you said, who you said it to, and keep the story straight so it doesn't come back to bite you. It's like trying to keep track of 10 different tabs in your brain and one of them is bound to crash. When I stopped lying, my mind just calmed down. Conversations feel lighter because I don't have to second guess myself. And I didn't need to think about, wait, what version of the story did I tell this person? And the best part is I never had that guilty, icky feeling of, why did I say that? You know what I'm saying? So here's my motto. Every action I take can be explained. If I have to lie to explain it, I wouldn't have done it in the first place. For example, let's say I overslept and missed an important meeting. Instead of saying, oh, there was this huge traffic jam, I just admit it. Sorry, I overslept. It's not fun to say, but guess what? People appreciate it way more in the long run than some made-up excuse. Plus, you never have to worry about someone catching you in your lie later. And here's what I absolutely love so much about it. By admitting the truth out loud, you're also holding yourself accountable for stuff. When you say to someone, sorry, I overslept, you're not just being honest with them, you're also being honest with yourself. It's like drawing a line in the sand and saying, I'll do better next time. And trust me, the next time when the alarm goes off, you'll think twice before hitting snooze because you don't want to have to admit the same mistake to the same people again. Honesty creates this internal loop of self-discipline. It pushes you to take ownership of your actions and motivates you to improve. So not only do people respect you more for being upfront with them, but you also start respecting yourself more. Because here's the thing about honesty. It's not just about simplifying your life. It's also about building trust. And trust, my friends, is everything. When you're consistently honest, people feel it. They know exactly what to expect from you. They know you're not going to sugarcoat things and say one thing to their face and another thing behind their back. It gives you authority, reliability, and this quiet confidence that makes people respect you even if they don't always like what you say. And it definitely makes you someone people want to work and hang out with. Let me give you an example of my work as a flight attendant. Every so often we'll catch someone smoking in the lavatories. The smoke alarm goes off, and when we confront them, they usually have two choices. Be honest with what happened, or act like nothing's wrong. Now, if they do own up to it, like, yeah, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, I know, we'll usually just explain the risks of a fire on board, which is really serious, and then let it go. But if they try to play it off, like, oh, that wasn't me, or act like nothing's happened, that's usually where things escalate. Because now we're not just dealing with the action of smoking, they're showing us that they're willing to break the rules and lie to us about it. And when someone denies something so dangerous, by the way, fire is probably the only thing that can take a plane down from the sky, then we can't trust them anymore. And if then this behavior repeats, we have no choice but to hand them over to the federal police as soon as we land. And also, trust isn't just regular important, it's the base of every relationship. Because most of us would rather be around someone they trust than someone that's nice but flaky, right? For example, I love Brazil. It's one of my favorite places and I spend a lot of my time over the years there. But one thing that drives me absolutely crazy is how often people lie in their culture. Not maliciously, but out of politeness. For example, if someone doesn't want to join a plan, they'll say, oh, I'll check and I'll let you know later, even when they have clearly no intention of showing up. So why not just say that? I get that it's cultural, but wouldn't it be so much easier to just say, hey, thanks for the invitation, but I really don't feel like it today? Because honesty makes things simpler for everyone involved. There's no guessing, no wondering, no wrong expectations, and no passive-aggressive texting later. People know where you stand, and that's a level of respect that's really hard to fake. But maybe I'm just too non-Latino to understand this. Okay, but let's not pretend that honesty is all sunshine and rainbows, because sometimes it is uncomfortable. Of course, there have been moments when I wanted to lie to avoid a conflict or make myself look better. But every time I ask myself, why do I feel the need to avoid the truth? And the answer is pretty much always fear. Fear of judgment, fear of confrontation, fear of admitting I messed up. But here's the thing, when you face those fears and own the truth, it feels liberating. It's Kind of surprising, but it does. You feel lighter because you're not hiding anything, and people respect you more because you're real. People give you their immediate reaction and tell you how they feel about something you did, and you don't have to speculate about how they would feel if they found out the truth later. For example, if you accidentally upset someone and your instinct might be to downplay it, like, oh, you're being so sensitive, instead try saying, well, you're right, I'm sorry, I didn't think about how this could make you feel. Because owning your mistakes strengthens relationships in a way that excuses never could. Because it's about being real, even if it's uncomfortable, but the more you practice it, the easier it gets. Alright, you might be thinking, well, this all sounds great, but how do I actually do it? Because always being honest is kind of harder than it sounds. So let me walk you through a couple of steps that helped me a lot. Number one is pause before you speak. If you feel the need to lie, ask yourself, why? Are you avoiding conflict? Are you trying to impress someone or put yourself in a better light? Just give it a second, because that pause usually helps to choose honesty instead. Number two, be honest about your boundaries. If you don't want to do something, just say so. Politely, of course, but instead of saying, well, I'll check if I'm free, just say, hey, thanks for the invite, but I don't really feel like it today. Because trust me, everyone feels like this all the time. And instead of being mad at you, I'm sure your friends will rather respect you for having the balls to say it out loud. And number three, accept that not everyone will like what you say. And that's okay, because honesty is not about pleasing everyone, it's about being real to yourself and your values. And number four, start small. Honestly, practicing total honesty is harder than it sounds. So it might make sense for you to actually try to start in low stakes situations first. Admit that you forgot to reply to a text or that you overslept, and then just build the habit gradually. Because honesty doesn't mean being rude. It just means being authentic in a way that respects you and the person you're talking to. Okay, let's talk about something that might sound like a contradiction. Delayed honesty. Now, if you've been following this no lying mindset, this might sound like bending the rules, but trust me, there are rare situations where holding back the truth is actually the kinder and more constructive solution to the situation. Here's what I mean. I came across a video recently where Simon Sinek shared this brilliant example of delayed honesty in action. You might have seen it as well. He talked about how he went to an event, it was one of his friend's plays, and it absolutely sucked. Now, right after the play, when she asked him what he thought of the play, he could have easily told her the truth, but he didn't. Why? Well, let me play you a part of the video to show you what he did instead.
After the thanks for coming, the first question was, what did you think? Right? Now, I'm an honest person, but she's all jacked up on adrenaline. She's all jacked up on emotion. Now is not the time. We lie all the time to protect other people's feelings. You know, you get given a gift. It's the ugliest sweater you've ever seen in your life. And they go, what do you think? You go, oh my God, I love it. Thank you. You don't love it, right? So don't say you love it to protect them, right? But you don't have to be honest in the moment. So what I said was, oh my God, I'm so proud of you. It was so amazing to be here and watch you do your thing. I've never sat in the audience and seen you do your thing before, and it was so much joy to see you on stage. All of that was true, and that was it, done. The next day, when all the adrenaline had come down and there was no more emotion, I called her up and say, can I tell you what I thought of the play? She goes, yeah. And then I told her point by point why it sucked. But we had a rational conversation the next day.
So in a situation like that, delayed honesty isn't about hiding the truth. It's about preparing it in a way that could be received with understanding instead of creating immediate chaos. Because it's pretty much impossible to mix rationality with emotion. And since his friend was understandably so emotional after the play, it was better to not do it in the moment, but wait until the next day to have a rational conversation about the play. Now, this doesn't mean you should use delayed honesty as an excuse to avoid difficult conversations indefinitely, but it's about balancing honesty with empathy and timing. When you're in a highly emotional situation, whether it's a relationship, a work issue, or a conflict with a friend, sometimes waiting for the right moment to share the truth can make all the difference. But remember that the key here is intention. If you're delaying honesty to be considerate and thoughtful about the other person's feelings, it can actually strengthen the trust in the long run. But if you're delaying just to avoid the discomfort of telling the truth, that's not delayed honesty, that's procrastination. And we don't do that here. So, 2 years of pretty much not lying. Here's what I learned. Honesty simplifies your life, strengthens trust with other people, and gives you the kind of confidence that only comes from being unapologetically real. It's not always easy, and I have to admit that sometimes, very rarely, but sometimes I also fall back and tell a super unnecessary lie. But I think trying is worth it. Start small, stay consistent, and see how your relationships, your conversations, and your inner peace transform. So thank you very much for watching. If this video resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And tell me in the comments, what's one situation you're gonna embrace honesty from now on? Let's talk about it.